guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, then welcome to my channel where I show you how you can learn to make amazing, indulgent, super creative and unique desserts and sweet treats. If this is something that you enjoy, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell icon so you're notified every time I post a new video. Today we're making a no-bake, no cream cheese Nutella crunch cheesecake. It comes together so quickly and it is so delicious. It's super easy as well. So let's get straight into this recipe. The very first thing that we want to do is make our cheesecake crust. So let's get cracking. Here I have some Parle-G biscuit. You could use absolutely any biscuit that you enjoy eating. Now normally we just use a biscuit base with some melted butter, but for today's recipe I'm also going to add in my candied hazelnuts right here. So if you remember, just a few weeks ago we made these candied nuts in 3 different ways, and the first variation that we had made was these candied hazelnuts with brown sugar. But if you go and watch that video, you'll see how you can completely customize this to your liking. You could also just add plain hazelnuts in here, but I would highly recommend that you make these candied nuts, and we're going to be adding this in our cheesecake as well. So that's the reason why I would highly recommend that you make these. It's very easy. But for now we're just going to add this to our cheesecake crust. So let's add that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to crush this to a fine powder in my mixer. So I've crushed my biscuits and candied nuts in the mixer, and I'm going to pop this in a bowl now. So what I'm going to do now, into this I am going to add my melted salted butter. So I'm going to add the melted butter here. I'm going to give it a good mix until it starts to sort of clump together, and all of the biscuit and hazelnut crumbs are coated in the melted butter. This is looking perfect. Now let's transfer this onto our cheesecake tin. Here I have a 6-inch loose bottom cake tin, and the base is detachable, and I have greased it really well with some oil so that it's easy for us to release the cheesecake once it's cooled thoroughly. I'm going to transfer this biscuit, candied hazelnut and butter mix onto the base of this detachable cake tin. Then I'm just going to spread it around, and then also what I'll do is I'll tamp it down really hard so that it just sort of sticks to each other and forms a nice stable base for our cheesecake. It almost looks like wet sand at this point, which is just perfect and exactly what we want. Once you're happy with how evenly that is spread, I'll take a spoon and just sort of press it really tightly together. You could also use the base of a flat glass as well to do this. And that looks perfect. Now I am going to pop this in the refrigerator so that it chills thoroughly while we prepare our cheesecake base. Now comes the best part. So here I have the element that is actually going to make our cheesecake no cream cheese, and that is just some hung yogurt. Now here on the side you're basically going to see a little procedure that I did the night before. So all I did was chuck some yogurt or dahi into a muslin cloth. I placed that over my sieve and placed it under a bowl, and then I just wrapped it around like this and placed that in the refrigerator overnight. So what happens is all of that wave water starts to drip here in the bottom. Now there was way more wave water over here. I just had to discard it because it was so heavy, and also because I only wanted to leave a little bit to show you what that would look like. And there's going to be it's going to be filled all the way to the top actually, and that's the reason why you want a heavy bottom saucepan or a heavy bottom bowl so that it can collect all of that wave water. You can discard that, and this is what your hung yogurt is going to look like after you have followed this procedure and left it overnight in the refrigerator. You can see you've got that thick, lush, almost like cream cheese like looking structure there. It is super firm. You can see how firm that is. So I've weighed out the hung yogurt that I need for this recipe, and I'm going to whip this on a low speed for about 10 to 15 seconds until it breaks apart and forms a nice homogeneous mix. Into this now, I'm going to add my whipping cream. Now I have used dairy-free whipped topping because that's the one that's easily available over here. So I'm just going to add that, and this is already sweetened whipping cream. That's the reason why you'll see in this recipe I haven't used castor sugar, because there are a lot of other sweetening bits which on their own are quite sweet. So I don't want to sweeten this up even further. I don't want it to be cloyingly sweet. So I'm just going to add in this already sweetened dairy-free whipped topping. Now I'm going to mix this on a medium speed for about, I'd say, 10 to 15 seconds, just until it's well combined. Into this now, I'm going to add my sweetened condensed milk, and I'm also going to add in the Nutella, which is at room temperature. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip this on a medium high speed, so not all the way to the high speed, but slightly lower than the highest speed setting. And I'm going to mix this for at least, I'd say, 30 seconds to a minute. Halfway through the mixing process, I'm going to take my spatula and scrape the sides and the bottom of the bowl just to make sure that everything is well combined. As you can see now, it has reached stiff peaks and it looks amazing. Now let's start assembling our cheesecake. Now I've transferred the cheesecake batter into a piping bag just so it becomes easier for us to assemble this cheesecake. So I'm going to fill this about halfway through. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a surprise filling inside. So I've taken those candied hazelnuts and then I've just sort of pulsed them in the blender. So you can see some of them remain whole, some become halved, and some become really fine crumbs. So I'm going to add those candied crumbed hazelnuts as a surprise filling in the middle of this cheesecake, so that every time you bite into it, you get a textural surprise, which I absolutely love doing with my desserts. So first, before I do that, I'm going to take a knife, a butter knife or a palette knife, and just smooth this out. So here I have some room temperature Nutella, and I'm going to add tiny dollops of this throughout the surface of this cheesecake right now. And then I'm just going to swirl it in. Now I'm just going to take a knife and sort of swirl it in. And now I'm going to add that candied, roughly crushed hazelnut. And finally, then I'm going to top it off with the rest of the Nutella cheesecake batter. And then I'm going to spread it out so that it's nice and even. Now you could leave this as is, but I am going to add those swirly Nutella bits again on the top as well. And then using a toothpick this time, I'm going to create swirly patterns. And as a final finishing touch, along the sides of this cheesecake, I'm going to add the candied hazelnuts that we crushed. So our cheesecake is ready, but it's not ready to eat yet. We still have to be a little bit more patient because this will go in the refrigerator and it's going to chill there overnight or for at least 8 to 10 hours. It is now day 2 and our cheesecake has had an entire day to just chill in the refrigerator. But I'm not going to let it chill anymore because I really want to dive in. Now it's time for us to gently but firmly unmold our no bake, no cream cheese, no gelatin cheesecake. So very gently but firmly, you're just going to push along the sides and you'll notice that it just very easily just sort of comes off. Just look how beautiful that cheesecake looks. It's just amazing. I am so excited to slice into this cheesecake so I can show you what that looks like on the inside. But before we do that, I just quickly want to let you know that I have an entire course on creating cheesecakes. There's more than 47 recipes in there, all video demonstrations. And if you enjoyed this cheesecake recipe, if you thought this was great, I'm sure you're going to love that cheesecake course. It's a self-paced course, which means that you can consume the videos as many times as you want, whenever you want, and it's available for purchase right now. The link is in my description box below. If you're interested, I think that course can really help you learn so many different techniques for making cheesecakes. Now it's time for us to slice into this cheesecake, and I'm excited to see that surprise filling and what that's going to look like. I'm going to dig right in because I really want to know what this tastes like. Guys, stop whatever you're doing right now and go and make this cheesecake straight away. I cannot tell you how amazing it tastes. You cannot even tell that there's no cream cheese in this, and no, it does not have a dahi or yogurty taste. It's literally unimaginable, and it's creamy, and it's got a lot of Nutella flavor and those candied hazelnuts that is in the filling, in the crust and on the top. It just adds so much texture. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I post a new video. I'll see you in another video. Until then, goodbye and happy baking.